Good afternoon. All right, look at this. My name's John Barros, and I am Chief of Economic Development for the City of Boston. And I'm proud to be here today, along with Mayor Walsh, the Boston Planning and Development Agency, Sheila Dillon from the Department of Neighborhood Development, the Public Works Department, and other city departments as we stand along our partners in state government, Governor Baker, Lieutenant Governor Polito, Secretary Keneally, and our local business representatives, Councilor Janey, I was going to call you something else, Councilor, previous conversation. Friendly, all friendly. It's always great, in fact, to be here in Dudley Square, the heart of the city. In fact, it was only Friday that we were here together celebrating good news, so it's good to be back. As we grow together, as this neighborhood grows, reclaiming its unique identity as the hub of the city. I'd like to thank community members and advocates for joining us this afternoon and for your tireless work in making sure that this continues to be a neighborhood that is growing and growing in a way that the neighbors, businesses, and others here continue to benefit from its growth. I want to thank the members of the Roxbury Strategic Master Plan Oversight Committee for your work in partnership with the city on Plan Dudley and the recent release of the RFPs, a milestone achievement to be celebrated after years of strategic planning and visioning how best to implement the Roxbury Master Plan. The MassWorks grant and the celebration here today is very much partnership focused and representative of the shared investment in making our communities thrive. In just a moment, you will hear from Mayor Walsh about two projects, the Nawn Factory and Bartlett Station, that represent a critical facet of the city's economic and neighborhood development strategies, which will spur investment and create jobs and affordable housing. These awards come on the heels of significant city investments in Dudley Square. This building, the Bruce Bolling Municipal Building, is home to Boston Public Schools, as well as small businesses that serve this community. We have assisted 45 small businesses in the last 5 years with signage, storefront improvements, and loans. We've built the Dearborn STEM Academy, a new Boston Public Library branch, and we have worked with community members on traffic safety and neighborhood beautification improvements. Mayor Walsh and the administration will continue to prioritize strategic investments and development without displacement, and we look forward to continuing to work with all of you as we do it. I first want to introduce to you Mayor Walsh.
Thank you very much, John. And I want to thank John and his team for the amazing work they do, our Office of Business Development, and working in the neighborhood of the 45 business storefronts here in this community, and working on so many different other investments in the Dudley area. I want to thank Councilor Janey for hosting us today. We were together earlier today. We'll be together tomorrow. But I want to thank her as well because she's just about finishing up her first term as city councilor here in this neighborhood. And if you look around the neighborhood, the amount of city buildings that are being under construction is probably more than any other neighborhood. And I know this is on TV in Boston, so don't hold us as Kim Janey's fault, the other city councilors. So I want to thank you. I want to thank the governor. I'm going to introduce him in a minute, but I want to thank the governor, who is no stranger at all to this neighborhood, who's been here many, many, many times. I want to thank him for his commitment to Boston and this particular community. I want to thank the lieutenant governor, who I had the honor of serving in the House of Representatives with. We were together for about 14 years together in the House. Barros, and certainly know where her commitment is as well. And thank you, Lieutenant Governor, for being with us today. Secretary Keneally, thank you for your support as well. You've been amazing since you've assumed this role in working to make sure that equity is passed across all cities and towns in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And to the teams from the city and the state, thank you so much for all that you do for us. To the school department, I know we're a big, pretty decent crowd from the school department. Thank you as well. Former city councilor down the back from Quincy, thank you, Margaret, for being here with us as well. And to all of you that are here. And to the Roxbury community, most importantly, thank you, Roxbury community, for being here. Congratulations on these two awards. We have developed a strong partnership with the MassWorks program. This funding has helped us complete important projects all across the city, from Mattapan to Jamaica Plain, from East Boston to Dorchester. And the beauty about these grants is that you have to work for them, and you have to have real strong programs and real strong projects. And the money sometimes is the final touch in getting a program complete, and it comes at the right time. And this is Christmas season, so it's nice to get a little Christmas present here today. We're excited to celebrate these next ones in Roxbury. $3.7 million roughly is going towards two special projects, as John mentioned, the Nawn Factory and Bartlett Station. Right now is an exciting time here in this neighborhood. There's strong energy and there's growth happening here through the creation of new housing, the creation of jobs, the creation of innovation, the creation of open space, schools, library investments, and also infrastructure investments in our streets that you see outside. These are all aspects of a thriving neighborhood, and that's what this great community quite honestly deserves. And that's why we're investing in all the ways we can to help families access opportunity and a good quality of life. We can celebrate today, but our work tomorrow it starts all over again to continue to fight the battle of income inequality and creating opportunities for people. And what's happening today is that another little step in fighting income inequality. We've placed a big focus on affordable housing and preventing displacement. The work we're doing is guided by input from residents and community. Last summer, we released our guidelines for Plan Dudley. This planning process looked at vacant properties in the neighborhood and how we can reflect the community's wishes for these spaces. We heard from residents, we heard from business owners, and we heard from neighborhood organizations who helped us mold this vision. The restoration of the Nawn Factory is a great example of this community's advocacy. I just want to take a moment, I don't see him here, but I want to thank State Representative Byron Rushing and others who help preserve this important piece of Roxbury's history. MassWorks funding will help support the site preparation and get it ready for future development. We're looking forward to continuing this work in this community. MassWorks is also going to be supporting the remaining public infrastructure work at Bartlett Station. I don't know, we were there a few months ago. We did a ribbon cutting. It was amazing to see it. It's great to see Bartlett Station come out. We celebrated the first phase, 76 units and 13,000 square feet of retail space. The full project had linkage money from the development going on in the city of Boston, $1 million from linkage and $1 million from inclusionary development. Once again, when this project is complete, it's going to create 360 affordable homes for working families and thousands of feet for commercial space. When you think about preserving something in the heart of a community, there's probably not many other projects like this in the city. We don't have any space like this in the city to be able to do something special like this. This project has been working for more than a decade in the planning. There's been a lot of advocacy and a lot of hard work by the Roxbury community, and I want to thank you for it. When it comes to lifting up our neighborhoods, we need to work together across all sectors of government, and that's what partnership represents, and there's no question about it. Massachusetts is setting a strong example for collaboration, and it's something that we should be proud of, and oftentimes people in today's world like to see a lot of, I guess, discontent and fighting and disagreeing and arguing, but when we sit together and we collectively work together, a lot of great things can happen. And it's an honor for me today to bring up to the microphone a friend and a partner who have been in this work now for the last 5 years. And, you know, it's one of those things, literally I was just in the garage with the governor, and we were talking about another issue. And to be able to have a relationship like that with the state, and to be able to talk to the governor one-on-one about things that are concerning our communities, whether it's housing, whether it's education, whether it's open space, whether it's the environment, whether it's transportation, whatever the issues might be. We can argue and we can fight and we can do all that stuff, but at the end of the day, we need to collectively work together. And that's what these two projects were beneficiaries of community, of networking, of elected officials, all of us working together. So it's my honor to bring up to the podium the governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Charlie Baker.
So let me just start, first of all, by getting through the official part of this. And we don't mail anybody a check anymore. We don't hand anybody a check. But we do give you letters of confirmation, which I'm sure Brian Golden will want because they're good when the money shows up. So those are the two. These are the two MassWorks letters.
Thank you. And we'll get it to you guys right away.
So let me just start, first of all, by saying that this is sort of the second bite at the Bartlett Yard's apple, okay? The MassWorks program was also part of Phase 1. I think they put about a $2.8 million grant in alongside other money that came from DHCD and a bunch of other places to make that Phase 1 piece work. And I think part of the reason we're back here talking about another almost $3 million grant for Phase 2, which this board does a much better job of explaining than I could, is because of the success of that first phase, and that we do want to work with the mayor and with Chief Barros and the folks on their team, Sheila Dillon, and obviously we're here in the councilor's district. These are places and spaces where if we have opportunities to turn unused assets into opportunity and possibility for people, we want to partner on that stuff and make it happen. And I can't tell you how many of these I've been at with Sheila Dillon over the course of the past 36 to 48 months. Some of those with Crystal Cornegay and some of them with Janelle Chan. But the bottom line is we do believe that we need to be there to help you folks, whether it's through the tax credit programs or the bond money or the MassWorks program. I say all the time that the most interesting thing about the role the state can play here in most of these projects is we are kind of the final stitch, wherever it is, in trying to make the math work. And MassWorks by far has the most flexibility, which is why people typically use it for what I describe as the stuff that goes on around the project. Infrastructure work, streetscape work, sidewalks, the sort of stuff that nobody else really pencils into their project becomes an important part of making it happen. And in this particular case, coming on the heels of the support and the partnership around Phase 1, having a chance to participate and support Phase 2, and this piece here on the Nawn Factory is what I would describe as pre-work. In many ways, it's site prep and some other work that needs to be done to get people to the point where the community can start having a conversation with the city about what might be possible to do with that factory. But in many ways, from our point of view, we have always seen these programs as enabling opportunities. And the Lieutenant Governor, Secretary Keneally, we all get the fact that in the end, what we want to do is make it possible for communities to close the deal on projects that they think will move their neighborhoods forward. And in this particular case, we already have history on this one. We're talking about a second piece of a project that started on what was an old MBTA yard. And I think in many ways, it's a great example of not only a public-private partnership, but the reuse of a public asset that actually sat vacant, as the mayor said, I think for probably, must have been close to 10 years, right? Was it more than that? Okay. Did you own it? Oh my God. Okay. Well, see, I wasn't around then, so I only go back as far as a decade. But the bottom line is there are really good things happening on this property now. We're very excited about the possibilities and the opportunity, and I think it's perfectly appropriate for the council to take full credit for it if she wants. Exactly. And but from where we sit, this is exactly the sort of thing we like to be part of. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Lieutenant Governor Polito, but I want to say how much we appreciate the partnership with the chief, the mayor, Sheila, and the rest of their team. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. Good afternoon. It's an opportunity for all of us to come together to congratulate and also thank you for your decisions, whether dating back now 10 years in the making. I want to just acknowledge Undersecretary Chan for being here. You're playing a big role in this, as the housing is a big part of this project as well. The few things I'd like to say are, first of all, leadership. I want to thank the mayor, the councilwoman, and you as as neighborhood activists that care deeply about a place that you have connections and ties to. From the City Hall to this neighborhood, having the leadership coming together in collaboration, you've heard that word a few times now, thinking or rethinking the use, the challenges and the opportunities for this neighborhood. And then taking your collection of thoughts and developing a common vision for this neighborhood. And that clearly took a number of meetings, a number of interactions, perhaps disagreements, and obvious ability to pull all of your thoughts and collection of ideas into a common vision. And then the third piece of it is to take all of that good thinking and your leadership behind it and put it into a plan, something that is tangible and sensible so that you could actually take it and make it a reality someday. And today is the day that it looks real, that the plan is more than a piece of paper. It's actually a reality, and that it can be constructed and become developed in the very manner in which your leadership team and your vision hoped for. And when you think about that plan, we don't think about plans sitting on a shelf. We think about them as the ability to really get something done. And what I love about this particular project and your choices is that it is mixed use. So within your neighborhood, you are not only addressing housing and residential needs, but you're also seeing opportunities for small business development, some entrepreneurship, some business ownership and development, and really tapping into the diversity and culture and creativity that this neighborhood clearly represents. And then, of course, it's not only mixed use, it's mixed income housing, so that you have the opportunity to create a neighborhood within your neighborhood that will address the housing needs of a variety of different people for this community. So I think you have nailed it in terms of what you want to see here. And now it's our opportunity to be able to partner with you with the dollars, as the governor referenced, are sometimes the final dollars that make the deal, but they're the real dollars that make a difference in terms of site development and underground piping and sidewalks and traffic signals and signage and all of that infrastructure stuff that's essential for any development. And clearly, you were able to attract the private investment coupled with the city and the state's participation to put together the bucket of funds and the resource to make this happen. So I want to congratulate all of the leaders here in this room for your vision, your planning, and for allowing us the opportunity to invest in something pretty special and that will have an impact not only for the neighborhood, but for the people who will come to work here, who will live here, and create a next opportunity of family development for another generation of people to call Dudley Square home. So congratulations. Thank you. I now want to turn it over to Secretary Mike Keneally, who I've been partnering with over the course of this year to create an economic development plan for the state. And in that plan, we are thinking about the resources that make a difference, like the MassWorks program, like investment in workforce and housing. And the Secretary is clearly spearheading a lot of that effort on behalf of the Secretariat. And I'm very pleased that he could be here today to also congratulate all of you. Secretary Keneally.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Great to be with you all here today. Great, as always, to be with Mayor Walsh and Chief Barros and Sheila Dillon and folks from the City of Boston, as well as Janelle, my colleague in housing. This MassWorks program is a really wonderful tool in our toolbox. In the last 5 years, we've awarded about $450 million of MassWorks grants to 220 projects in 140 communities. And as the mayor alluded to, it's a competitive process. So this year, we're making 36 awards. We had applications for 92. And so it is competitive to get these. And we have a whole process. People look at all these applications and score them on a lot of different dimensions. But I'd say in terms of how we make decisions, there's really two things that drive our thinking. One is, will the project have an impact? We want to see situations where the investment of the public dollars in public infrastructure will have a big impact on a community. And the second is, we like to fund things that are part of a larger plan, where a community can articulate a strategy and say, this project's important for us. And when people ask me, what does MassWorks fund? Well, we fund streets and lights and sewers and roadways. What we really fund at the end of the day is community and collaboration, because the way the program is set up, a community comes together and says, this one's important for us. This particular project will help us advance our goals and our aspirations, and please help us fund it. And the result of that is just a great partnership between the state, the city, the community, to make important things happen. Now, in terms of an articulated strategy, when you think about housing in Boston, it's clear under the leadership of Mayor Walsh and Sheila Dillon, Boston has prioritized housing the way few other communities have, and they've done a wonderful job developing housing. Frankly, we need more communities to develop a lot more housing, and we have some legislation before the legislature that would help us do that, called the Governor's Housing Choice Bill. But the way Boston has prioritized housing development is really, really important. And I did mention the housing choice legislation briefly, and thank you to the mayor and Sheila for their continued advocacy on that one. Hope we get that one done. Finally, I'd make note of the fact that last Friday, the governor signed the Economic Development Plan for the second term of the Baker-Polito administration. The plan is called Partnerships for Growth. And I have to say, we all love that title, because it really speaks to how we all work together to get important things done. But if you take a look at the plan, it's got sort of 4 key things we're trying to get done, 4 pillars, and it's got 5 principles that will help motivate and drive how the work gets done. And 2 of the 4 pillars are creating even more vibrant communities and responding to the housing crisis. And it's great to see a project here today that really will help advance the work in 2 of those pillars. I won't go through all the principles, but I'll touch on one, which is equitable opportunity, ensuring that all people and all communities will share in the growth and prosperity we've had these last number of years, and making sure everyone's got a chance for success. So great to be with you all today. Congratulations to the city and the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Walsh, Governor Baker, Lieutenant Governor Polito, and Secretary Keneally. As the governor talked about it, the first phase of Bartlett was actually seeded through MassWorks, or stitched, as he said, through MassWorks. And so the Nawn Factory, in fact, is that same opportunity, because right next to the Nawn Factory is Parcel 8. Parcel 8 is a DCR-owned parcel, very important parcel here in Dudley. And so I might also put in the ask now. The governor recognizes the fact that the state helps to seed and then stitch it at the end. So we'll be coming back, Governor. Thank you very much for your ongoing partnership. But now we have someone else who's joined us who is a very important part of that local community that we just heard from the Secretary is a part of the partnership that makes this happen. And so at this point, I'd like to call up Representative China Tyler.
Good evening, everyone. Again, I'm China Tyler, State Rep for 7th Suffolk District, which includes this district, Dudley, Roxbury, Dorchester, Fenway, and the South End. I want to thank everyone for coming out this evening. And I just wanted to give some quick remarks. Oftentimes, I witness very, very hostile and difficult relationships between developers and our communities. And due to the cost of development, oftentimes our community needs our sacrifice. So I'm very, very proud for that reason to be able to be here, because that means that we can deliver more community needs. So again, congratulations to everyone for being here. And I want to thank the governor and the mayor so much for, spearheading this initiative. It really, really means a lot. So thank you again.
Thank you, Representative. I'd like to thank everyone for being here today. Clearly, the leaders who are sitting here behind me, folks in this room, the community at large, those who have spent a lot of time in community meetings but weren't able to be here with us today, for such a strong commitment to the infrastructure improvements, the creation of affordable housing, and enhanced local vitality to Dudley and the Roxbury community. This $3.7 million grant is what the Dudley community needs and most importantly deserves. It will help build our neighborhood's exciting momentum and growth. Thank you.